Hi guys, welcome once again to Eshua Pig Farms. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a very salient topic. Should you concentrate on using commercial pig feeds on your farm, or should you solely use farm-formulated feeds? Now we're comparing the two in terms of the growth rate of your animals, consistency of performance of the animals based on the consistency of feeds, the profitability when you use commercial pig feeds as against farm-formulated feeds, nutritional balance, and all that. This video is going to be short but in-depth. So if you want to run a pig farm that is profitable, stay to the end of this video. In this video, we are going to explain when it is more profitable to use commercial pig feeds, or under what circumstances you should choose farm-formulated feeds, and sometimes you have to blend the two for optimal results. I'll do well to end this video with a practical recommendation for pig farmers, especially beginner pig farmers, if you are in Africa, especially in Nigeria. Let's be clear on the assumptions on which this discussion is held. We are using realistic market prices as it pertains here in Lagos. I'm sure that by the time you are watching this video, figures may change, and so take note of that. The first assumption is that the pigs are born on your farm. So you're going to raise pigs that are born on your farm from birth to maturity. You are having an average litter of 10 to 12 piglets and an average surviving litter of 8 to 10 piglets. So the third assumption, you are selling your pigs at a market weight of 90 to 100 kg when they are about 6 months to 8 months old. The next assumption, you're selling your animals at a peak season price of about 2,200 to 2,500 naira per kg of live weight. Commercial pig feeds cost between 34,000 to 44,000 naira per 50 kg bag of feed, which runs to about 680 naira per kg to about 980 naira per kg. Then for farm formulated feeds that meet NRC standards, you could formulate feeds from anywhere between 300 naira per kg to about 520 naira per kg. Next, a pig from birth to 100 kg would eat between 250 kg to 300 kg of feed over their lifespan. Yes, so what are the feeding options for a breeding farm? So you have commercial feeds that are top quality or lab formulated feeds for the animals for different stages of their growth. You can also formulate feeds that meet NRC standard recommendations on your farm using available local ingredients. So what are the advantages of farm-formulated feeds? Obviously, you can see that the feed ingredients are locally available, so it gives you cost advantages. Again, you are able to formulate feed that meets the different stages of growth of your animal. Farm-formulated feeds are also sustainable, or they reduce the environmental impact. Basically, most of the ingredients are farm wastes that are quality and can be used to feed the animals. This translates into your cost of feeding, which is reduced significantly from about 30 to 60% if you really know what you're doing, and depending on the availability of these materials. Okay, let's look at the disadvantages of farm-formulated feeds. The first thing is that the raw materials you're going to be using to formulate your feed are seasonal, and so you will not have a consistent supply of nutrients to your animals year-round, because you will be changing your ingredients and then making shifts as time goes on based on what is available for you. Then the second thing is the inconsistency of mixing your feed. Because the mixing is generally labor intensive, you may tend not to mix the different ingredients uniformly like a machine would do in a commercially formulated feed situation, which means that the quality of your feed becomes inconsistent. The third bottleneck of farm-formulated feeds is that you need to have a real knowledge in feed formulation, or else you're going to botch everything. So you need to actually understand feed formulation, understand the impact of the nutrients in each feed and how it impacts the animal for growth, and the proportions in which you have to supply them for each animal. This is a key risk or disadvantage in formulating feed on your farm. Now let's look at the advantage. See, if you have good animals with good genetics, a certain rate of growth for your animals, which is predictable. We cannot say the same for farm formulated feeds, because the ingredients that you're using are varying at different points in time, and you probably do not have lab equipment to check to ensure that you have the right ingredients in the right proportions. Again, another advantage of commercial feeds is that you take out the guesswork. It's easy to use, especially for beginners. Once you just bring the feeds to the farm, you can give them to your animals. Additionally, because commercial feeds also rely on the use of some imported materials, it means that fluctuations in forex affects the price of commercial feeds. So when the dollar is going up, the price of your commercial feeds will be going up. This is something that can also affect your bottom line. And like you know, in most African countries, the local currency is not stable against the dollar. The prices are always fluctuating. What are the disadvantages of commercial pigs? So the first one I already said is that they become expensive because of the fluctuations in the local currency against the USD. Okay, so one advantage that commercial feeds have over farm-formulated feeds is that commercial feeds help you raise healthy animals. Why? Because they are lab-tested. Farm-formulated feed ingredients may contain harmful toxins like cyanide in the case of cassava peel meal, or other toxins in, say, groundnut cake, which are harmful to especially piglets and can lead to mortality, which affects your bottom line at the end of the day. So you need to pay attention to these. Now let's look at the pricing. The cost of commercial feeds are expensive compared to locally formulated feeds. So between 680 naira per kg to 980 naira per kg. Then for locally formulated feed or homemade feed, we are talking about 300 to 500 naira, 520-ish naira per kg, if you know what you're doing to meet NRC standards. Now, I did a small table for profits, and then I'll just like to show it to you so that you look at it and then see how it benefits you. So we are going to look at, in this aspect, we are going to look at the commercial feeds against the farm-formulated feeds. Now, for the commercial feed costs per pig from birth to maturity, that is 1900 kg in 6 to 8 months, is between 170 to 264,000 naira per kg. Now, the same for farm formulated feed is between 75,000 to 150,000 naira per kg. Now, other costs include other costs for commercial feeds is 15,000 to 30,000 naira. We are talking about vet costs, etc., per pig. Then the same holds for farm formulated feeds. So when you look at the total cost for feeds, when you look at the total cost for commercial feeds, is between 180,000 to 294,000 naira. Then when you look at the same for farm formulated feeds, the total cost is between 90,000 and 180,000 naira. What is the revenue? So selling a pig between 2,200 per live weight to 2,500 per live weight will give you a revenue of between 209,000 to 250,000 naira for a commercial pig if they weigh that, and Also the same 209,000, 250,000 naira for a pig if they are fed on the farm formulated feed and they weigh the same amount. So profit per pig. So you are looking at a loss if you are using commercial pig feed. A loss of about 57,000 naira to a profit range of about 52,000 naira. That is a very slim margin. Then for the farm formulated feed, you are looking at a profit of about 80,000 to 120,000 naira per pig. From this calculation, you can see that it only makes sense to use commercial feeds if you have a very large farm, because over time the small margin makes up in the numbers. But when you're using farm formulated feeds, then it becomes very cumbersome and more labor intensive to prepare the feed. So under what circumstances will I recommend a commercial pig feed as against farm formulated feed? Now, if you are a beginner and you don't know anything about pig feed formulation, it is important to go with the commercial pig feeds because they are ready to use and you can be sure that you are getting the nutrition that you need for your animals. However, this will hit your bottom line very hard. And I always say that it's important to know the potential of your animals from the beginning before you start all your trial and errors or your tests and assumptions. So now if you know the potential of your animals, even though you might have taken a hit because you are on a smaller scale, and when you are now making your own feed, then you know what you are measuring your things against. And so you then begin to look out for how to improve your feed to meet the standard of the commercial pig feeds. So if you are starting off, it's good to start using commercial pig feeds. Secondly, if you are a very big operation, like you are a very big farm, you will need consistency. So it's important that you use commercial pig feeds, because when you are buying in bulks, you can negotiate and get prices reduced. Next, when local ingredients are scarce, it's good to go for commercial feeds as a stopgap measure so that your animals have food to eat. Because you don't say that because there's no feed, you leave your animals to starve. Also, the early stages of a piglet's life is a very crucial stage for their development. In that, it's advisable to use commercial pig feeds so that you can ensure their survival within the first few weeks of their lives. Then after that, you can begin to introduce your own farm-formulated feeds. So when would I recommend farm-formulated feeds? The first one is that if you are a small operation, then of course you will need to formulate your feeds so that you can make profit, or else you will run your business at a loss and soon close shop. The second condition under which I will recommend that you do farm-formulated feeds is that you are already an experienced farmer. Now, I think that whether you're starting off or you are already in the business, it is important to constantly learn and tweak. So it's good to start learning feed formulation. Fortunately for us, now AI makes it easy to access a lot of information. You can get average nutritional content of feed ingredients from Feedipedia, or you can use Croc or ChatGPT to estimate the feed content. They can even help you formulate feeds that meet NRC standards, which can be very useful for a smallholder farmer. And they can even help you to optimize the cost of feed based on the cost of ingredients you have without compromising on the nutritional quality of the feed. If you are a big operation and you have a good feed mixing equipment, then it will be very good to mix your own feeds, because now you can be able to mix feeds and get a consistent mix because of the equipment that you have available. So what's the conclusion? Now, for Nigerian farmers, having a midpoint, a mixture of both the commercial feeds and farm-formulated feeds have proven to yield higher profits for farmers, especially those who are just beginning to learn to mix their own feed. And so tell me, what do you use on your farm? Do you use farm-formulated feeds solely or commercial feeds only? Or do you use a blend of the two? Once again, I'd like to encourage you, like and subscribe to this channel. See you in the next video.